My name is Dr. Tom Moran, Associate Professor of Kinesiology at James Madison University, and it is my pleasure today to be co-presenting with Larry Bohannon, the founder and creator of the Quadriciser, as well as John Gilliam. And first I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey and how I got involved with the Quadriciser. In 2007, I was actually presenting at the World Congress on Disability. Many of you may be aware of this wonderful conference that at that time took place in Orlando, Florida. And after my presentation, I was walking through the exhibit hall and happened to come upon the Quadriciser exhibit. And as an individual with cerebral palsy, specifically spastic diplegia, Mr. Bohannon saw me and asked me to come and try out the Quadriciser. And at first, I honestly didn't know what to think. I've tried numerous different, functional pieces of equipment and thought, oh, well, I don't know if this is going to make much of a difference, but I'll give it a go. And one of the interesting things that I realized straight away was here I am as a now adult with CP, but it allowed me to reflect back on my experiences as a young child, and unfortunately having to go through numerous years and sessions of physical therapy. And unfortunately through those experiences, yes, I realized they were meant to be beneficial, but one of the things that was very detrimental to me and very violating in some degree was how I had zero control over what the therapist was choosing to do to me. I was, being asked to lie on this therapy bed while they chose to stretch my hamstrings from here to kingdom come. And in many situations, a lot of the stretches and or exercises I was doing was giving me extreme pain. And I thought, gosh, they have all power over me. And this is painful, and this is no fun. And so, as I was getting on the Quadriciser, I began to reflect on some of those experiences. And one of the initial things that I realized about this machine, this passive active motorized therapy system, is it allowed me to be an independent mover. It allowed me to have some control over my body. And then surprisingly, this machine allowed me to move my limbs through a full range of motion and through an increasing level of motion, but one that I could have some control over. It wasn't about a therapist or an instructor or a teacher now grabbing my limbs and forcing them to go in one motion or the other. And it wasn't about me questioning what is the purpose of this exercise. And so as I climbed, into the machine and got strapped in, again, still honestly had no idea what was going on. And then, Larry made the adjustments for the upper body cables, and then made the adjustments for the boots to allow it to fit my height and my current level of flexibility. And then we turned it on. And all of a sudden, over that next 20 minutes, I not only felt freedom in my movement, but I began to think, wow, would there be any other way to provide this movement and this amount of repetitious movements for me? Right? I think about the ability for me to go and do any type of continuous upper body movement. I love the outdoors, but the opportunity to run is so taxing and laborious on my body. And so, because, every time I take a step, I've got as many forces going front and back and north and south, unfortunately, as I do east and west. And so I'm burning 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day because of the inefficiency of my movement. But using the Quadriciser, using the belts and the straps, I began to see and feel what fluid movement should feel like. And so upon becoming an academic, I was able to stay in touch with Mr. Bohannon and did some initial research during my time at the University of Virginia doing my doctoral work. And then upon arriving at James Madison University and getting my position as professor of kinesiology, I began to run physical activity programs for people with disabilities. Because again, as a young person and now as an adult with cerebral palsy, there were so few opportunities for me to be physically active. And I dedicated part of my professional mission was to make sure that no child, adolescent, or adult went through what I have gone through and still go through in terms of limited opportunities to be physically active and to enjoy opportunities that any other same age peer is getting to enjoy.